Coming up on InfoSecSync, financial institutions already reeling from numerous breaches are finding out exactly how deep hackers will dig.
Also ahead, Meta taking added steps to protect particular users of their Facebook platform.
And a new phishing method that is almost completely unsuspecting. We've got those stories and more, so get ready to get in sync with InfoSecSync.
You're watching the InfoSecSync Weekly News with Nick Thomas and news anchor Leyla Gulen, sponsored by Axellio. Threat detection and response done right. Axellio. Also sponsored by Sirius Federal. Through high-level partnerships with the world's leading technology companies, Sirius Federal provides transformational technology solutions and services for the U.S. federal government. What's your mission?
Welcome to the InfoSecSync Weekly News for week ending December 3rd, 2021. I'm Leyla Gulen with your host, Nick Thomas. Nick, it's great to see you.
Great to see you again, Leyla. How are you doing this week?
Already December. Can you believe it?
Oh my goodness, it is so it's so awesome. Christmas is almost here. Are you all done with your presents?
I'm not quite done with my presents and still decorating, but the weather is so nice outside too, so it almost doesn't quite feel wintry yet.
Yeah, it was actually, I think the high today was around 60, so it was really nice here in the D.C.-Baltimore area.
Very
with some
good.
sun out, too.
Yeah, I know. Can't have enough of the sun, right?
Right.
Excellent. Well, why don't we get started? A recent report shows that the majority of employees from Fortune 500 financial firms have had their corporate credentials exposed. The discovery by intelligence company Constella Intelligence examined data between January 2018 through September 2021. While most major enterprises, including financial service institutions, understand that they will be the target of a breach at some point, this research highlights how much access bad actors really have to sensitive financial information. At least 2/3 of these internal financial industry breaches involve personal identifiable information. Mitigations include properly implementing backup storage, strong encryption algorithms for corporate databases, and to invest in education and awareness of employees and executives. And Nick, what could happen if a financial institution's employee or executive get hacked?
Well, it actually depends on what got hacked, what information got hacked. If it's personally identifiable information such as social security numbers, any health information, addresses, they could start to impersonate the person and take over accounts, maybe buy stocks, get into the checking, just make life miserable for the person that got hacked.
Just terrible. Well, we've got more to come. 2 social media giants working to further protect their users. Details after the break.
Are you concerned the next news headline on a security breach includes your company name? In a recent IBM cyber report, 51% of all interviewed organizations reported a significant business disruption during the past 2 years due to a cybersecurity incident, while organizations using 50-plus security tools rank themselves lower in their ability to detect and respond to an attack, with the average security operation team using 70 tools. If more tools and data are not the answer, what can you do? Axellio works with you to optimize a threat detection and response solution to fit your environment to prevent tool and data overload. We leverage and optimize your existing infrastructure enhanced with the Axellio platform as necessary, utilizing open source solutions where applicable. And we work closely with you to deploy, configure, document, and educate your team. Axellio, let's create the right security solution for your environment.
Welcome back. More than 300,000 infections have been reported due to several Android banking Trojans spread via the Google Play Store. The campaign happened between August and November of this year. The Trojans were spread through dropper apps that appeared harmless, leading to the apps taking full control of the infected devices. Once installed, these banking Trojans can surreptitiously siphon user passwords, keystrokes, screenshots, and even deplete users' bank accounts. A cybersecurity firm says the malware campaign is not only more refined, but also engineered to have a small malicious footprint. Among their methods is a technique called versioning, where clean versions of the apps are first uploaded, and malicious functionalities are incrementally introduced in the form of subsequent app updates. So that's pretty scary, Leyla. You got to make sure you've got some sort of antivirus on your phone and make sure that it stays up to date on your computer as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, British regulators are demanding Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook, to sell Giphy, the popular search engine for short looping videos and animations. Meta purchased Giphy last year for $315 million, but antitrust authorities are ordering Meta to break up the business because the deal could hurt competitors. The Giphy acquisition is the company's first high-profile deal government officials have tried to reverse. Regulators say the acquisition of Giphy would boost Meta's significant market power, in addition to driving more traffic to its Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram platforms. It would allow the company to require competitors such as TikTok, Twitter, and Snapchat to provide more user data to access GIFs. Meta does plan to appeal. Nick?
In more Meta news, they've announced an expansion of its Facebook Protect security program. The program includes protections for human rights defenders, activists, journalists, and government officials. It will enable users who enroll for the initiative to adopt stronger account security protections, like two-factor authentication, and watch out for potential hacking threats. The program is analogous to Google's own Advanced Protection Program, APP, which aims to safeguard users with high visibility and sensitive information and are at risk of targeted online attacks. Facebook Protect is being launched globally in phases. More than 1.5 million accounts have enabled Facebook Protect, Leyla.
Do you see this protection as being implemented across the board, no matter what type of user at some point?
You know, I think they're trying to do a lot better, so I believe that they're going to do that, especially since they've been up the hill and they've been grilled by senators, the Congress people, and so forth. I think they're trying to do the best that they can with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Twitter is also getting on the privacy bandwagon. The social media company announced an expansion to its private information policy to include private media. The policy prohibits the sharing of photos and videos without express permission from the individuals depicted in them, with an aim to curb doxing and harassment. The policy also discourages users from sharing information such as sign-in credentials that would enable malicious actors to gain access to a person's sensitive information without their authorization. It also forbids users from seeking financial compensation in exchange for posting or not posting in blackmail schemes. Individuals will now be allowed to request takedowns of pictures or videos featuring them with a clearly abusive intent. Violators found sharing private information and media will be prompted to remove the offending content and have their accounts temporarily locked out. Nick?
In CISA news, a cybersecurity journalist has been appointed to a cybersecurity advisory committee. Nicole Perloff joins Jeff Moss, a prominent leader in the hacker community, in the new committee. Security Director Jen Easterly says the times demand a new way in thinking about ensuring the security and resilience of the nation's digital infrastructure. The Cybersecurity Advisory Committee was authorized by the National Defense Authorization Act of 2021 and allows for a maximum of 35 members. It also requires representation from other industries, including defense, education, financial, healthcare, and media, among others. The members will meet at least twice a year and will make recommendations on how to further engage the hacker community, build the cyber workforce, combat misinformation and disinformation, and operationalizing public-private collaboration. Leyla?
It's time for a break. When we return, they're calling it good old-fashioned detective work. More on a big seizure. That's next.
Innovation, technology, it's evolving at a rapid pace.
The growth of data in our space is outpacing the growth of humans.
And that's one of the challenges with technology. It never ends. The federal government is the most important customer in the world. Being able to help any agency, any MilDep, any part of the intelligence community means that you're having a direct impact on the safety, the future of this government and the individuals that live in this country. You're helping many people do a much larger job than yourself.
Improperly secured Google Cloud platforms are being targeted by hackers mining for cryptocurrency. The threat actors abuse the infrastructure to install ransomware, stage phishing campaigns, and even generate traffic to YouTube videos for view count manipulation. Experts say that successful attacks are due to poor hygiene and a lack of basic control implementation. Of the 50 recently compromised GCP instances, 86% of them were used to conduct cryptocurrency mining, in some cases within 22 seconds of a successful breach. In most cases, the unauthorized access was attributed to the use of weak or no passwords for user accounts or API connections, vulnerabilities in third-party software installed on the cloud instances, and leakage of credentials in GitHub projects. Leyla?
Well, the FBI has seized nearly 40 bitcoins from an alleged affiliate of the notorious Revel ransomware group. A U.S. attorney says the funds were seized from an Exodus wallet, a piece of software that manages the private keys needed to access the addresses where cryptocurrency is being stored. Well, the Department of Justice says the funds are subject to civil forfeiture because they were gained via computer fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. Security experts say that disrupting the ransomware business model remains a needed intervention by police. Authorities won't say how they were able to uncover the fraud, but did credit good old-fashioned detective work. The value of the seized cryptocurrency was $2.3 million. Nick?
In more seizure news, more than 1,000 cybercriminals and $27 million in illicit proceeds has been seized by Interpol. The international crackdown included law enforcement units from 20 countries. Together, they closed more than 1,600 cases and blocked more than 2,300 bank accounts linked to fraud. The 4-month probe began in June. Interpol also said it uncovered a malware campaign that leveraged the hit South Korean Netflix show Squid Game to distribute a Trojan that subscribed victims to paid premium services without their explicit approval. The arrests are part of a 3-year project to tackle cyber-enabled financial crime. Leyla?
A 6th member associated with an international hacking group known as the Community has been sentenced in connection with a multi-million-dollar SIM swapping conspiracy. The 22-year-old from Missouri pleaded guilty to charges of wire fraud and aggravated identity theft following a 2019 indictment. He was sentenced to 10 months in prison and ordered to pay more than $100,000. SIM swapping, also called SIM hijacking, refers to an identity theft scheme wherein malicious parties persuade phone carriers into porting their victims' cell services to SIM cards. The goal is to leverage the phone numbers as a gateway to hijack different online services used by the targets, such as email, cloud storage, and cryptocurrency exchange accounts. And we did hear of a few cases this year, Nick, where that was taking place. And
We did.
Yes. Are carriers getting any more savvy at implementing more protections against this type of an attack?
Well, actually, it's the person that has to implement those protections, Leyla. So they have to do things like lock their account with a password or a passphrase. So they have to call the carrier to implement those protections to make sure they're protected, because it's really easy for someone to swap out SIM cards. But once they do that, then they have to start the social engineering aspect, and that is what makes it really hard for someone. So once you lock your account, it locks anyone else out without the proper password or maybe a callback or multi-factor authentication. So that's what I would recommend.
I see. Great.
A new phishing method has been discovered. It's called RTF, or Rich Text Format. State-sponsored threat actors from China, India, and Russia have been observed adopting the new method. The RTF file contains decoy content that can be manipulated to enable the retrieval of content, including malicious payloads, hosted at an external URL upon opening an RTF file. The idea is that attackers can send malicious Microsoft Word documents to targeted victims that appear entirely innocuous, but are designed to load malicious code via the template feature remotely. Thus, when an altered RTF file is opened via Microsoft Word, the application will proceed to download the resource from the specified URL prior to displaying the lure content of the file. The attack is the propensity for striking public and private sector organizations to harvest classified information from compromised Windows systems for geopolitical gains. When we come back, a major merger of quantum proportions. We'll explain after the break.
Are your security event notifications impossible to prioritize and act upon? Axelio's Packet Express platform provides total packet visibility that works with your existing analysis applications to enable a comprehensive threat response. Capture any traffic reliably at 100 gigabits per second. Distribute directly from disk to any security application at over 100 gigabits per second to keep up with traffic spikes and growth. Pivot directly from an event into the relevant packets for insightful pre- and post-event analysis. Packet Express for informed decisions and rapid incident response. Axelio. Detect, disrupt, defend.
It's being touted as the world's largest integrated quantum computing company. Honeywell Quantum Solutions and Cambridge Quantum have merged to create Quantinuum. Honeywell Quantum Solutions specialized in quantum hardware, while Cambridge focused on software, operating systems, and cybersecurity. Quantinuum is planning to launch a quantum cybersecurity product this month and will later release an enterprise software package that leverages quantum computing to solve complex scientific problems in various fields. The goal of the merger is to boost development and innovation in the field of quantum computing. And it sounds like the U.S. is doing a pretty good job of developing its quantum computing industry. Is there another country, Nick, that's doing it better or faster?
I believe all the countries right now are on the same playing field, as it's new technology to be able to do this, and you have to have the quantum computers and the quantum computing power to do that. However, like I said, we're on the same playing field, so it's anybody's game right now. But of course, the ATP countries are trying to outdo the U.S., of course, so we're dealing with that as well. And with that, an advanced persistent threat has been linked to cyber attacks on 2 biomanufacturing companies. The malware loader is called Tardigrade and is actively spreading across the sector with the likely goal of perpetrating intellectual property theft. The campaign is being characterized as a sophisticated piece of malware with a high degree of autonomy as well as metamorphic capabilities. Tardigrade is an advanced offshoot of SmokeLoader, a Windows-based backdoor. It's available for sale on underground markets and has the capability to capture keystrokes, laterally move across the compromised network, and escalate privileges. The actively spreading intrusions have not been attributed to a specific threat actor or nation, but mirrors previous attacks by a hacking group linked to Russia. Leyla?
Kaspersky has analyzed a new espionage campaign conducted by the threat actor named Scarcruft, and researchers believe it is backed by the North Korean government. The attackers have been active since at least 2012. They're also referred to as APT-37, Group 123, and Temp.Reaper. Scarcruft is known for targeting of defectors, journalists, and government organizations, among others. The recently observed campaign appears to target a news organization that covers North Korea. The security firm discovered that the adversary used stolen Facebook credentials to contact a victim's acquaintance, after which a phishing email was sent from a stolen account to the potential victim. Nick?
China, Russia, and Iran are at the top of the list for biggest threats to the UK. Britain's Foreign Intelligence Agency says the 3 countries in international terrorism make up the big 4 security issues confronting Britain's spies. Known as MI6, the intelligence agency chief says China is the intelligence agency's single greatest priority as the country's leadership increasingly takes significant action to further its interests. The agency says Britain's spies must give up some of their deep-rooted secrecy and seek help from technology firms to win a cybersecurity arms race that is giving hostile countries and groups ever more capacity. Leyla?
UK intelligence agencies have entrusted classified data to Amazon's cloud computing arm, AWS. The secret contract was signed this year, and experts estimate its value at $690 million. The deal is designed to vastly speed up their espionage capabilities, allowing UK intelligence to get information from huge amounts of data in minutes rather than in weeks or months. It was said to be spearheaded by Britain's cybersecurity agency GCHQ, which had wanted to find a UK cloud provider but decided that none had the requisite capability as Amazon Web Services. Amazon itself will not have access to the data. Well, that's going to do it for us. On behalf of Nick and myself, thank you so much for watching. You are now in sync with InfoSecSync. We'll see you again next week.
We utilize technology in ways to transform opportunity for the country, for our citizens, and for the world. We're at the forefront of what we're able to do with some of these solutions when you talk about artificial intelligence and analytics and what we can do with data and how we utilize those solutions to make lives better for everybody. The future's bright and the possibilities are endless.
Many organizations are protecting their environment through perimeter defense using a combination of firewalls, IDSs, IPSs, and endpoint protection. Even though cost-effective, recent events have shown that perimeter defense, even though necessary, is not sufficient when it comes to threat detection and response. And once a threat actor penetrates these defenses, what tools do you have to detect their every move or to stop their preparations for ransomware attacks or data exfiltration? At Excelio, we believe that comprehensive network visibility across your network inside and out is essential to identify and respond to today's threat actors. Packet Express provides the network visibility and contextual data to detect, prioritize, and mitigate threats, no matter where they hide. Excelio, threat detection and response solutions with Packet Express, the network visibility hub.